And hello again, everybody. As always, I am Tyler, and I'm back with some more Shapes.io. So let's go ahead and pick up where we left off on the last episode. As you see, we got our red pinwheel shape up all the way, so all we're just waiting on is finishing up these last two shapes. Right now, only delivering 600-ish a minute of those, so I'm going to want to try and improve that. And I'm pretty sure I can actually go ahead and get rid of what we did work-wise in the last episode. It was some good testing, so at least we know a little bit more about some of the constraints that we work with. And we can kind of go from there. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of this as well. And yeah, and luckily we will be able to repurpose this for our purple pinwheels that we'll need to make. Go ahead and just, you know what, yeah, let's just go ahead and clear all of this over here. That way we can cut down on the number of belts that we're using. And here's ourselves a little bit more of a fresh start. So like I said, right now I was like, we're making the base shape, but we need to make one more layer on top of this, which is the circle. So we're going to spend the next couple episodes working on that and just going from there. Go. So we've got 3 of those delivering. And so, okay, so over here is where we're producing all of this, and then it's getting delivered, and that's totally fine. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and let that kind of do its thing. Like I said, it's not much a minute, but depending on how long it takes us to get this shape, obviously this might end up being at our 100,000, or we can always upgrade and mess with that a little bit more later. So let's go ahead and come on over here. And yeah, so we got 4 different rows of protection for that. So let's go ahead and start on over here. And we've got purple dye being made here, so I can go ahead and carry that on over. Don't even have to worry about red. So we can go ahead and get rid of that, so we cut down on the belts. And let's go ahead and continue. So hopefully everyone is doing well today. I just got back from grabbing some coffee and a couple of other things along with some art supplies, because I've got a couple of things I want to do art-wise that I haven't been able to have a chance to do just because I'm trying not to go out as much as I can, and I went and actually just picked up a couple of things right quick, minimizing time outside and hoping to be able to do some cool stuff with it. One really interesting thing about resin that I've learned is there's different techniques for doing like layered resin paintings. So pretty much the process is going to involve taking resin and from there going and so you can use resin to like do a clear coat or a clear layer onto a like canvas, something like that, and then you can, once it cures, you can paint on top of it, and then if you do it, it will create a more like 3D effect, so you can get that foreground and stuff like that without having to do only like parts of images, as opposed to normally when you do art stuff, your layerings like, or you draw things and paint things and stuff like that based upon what you want your final result to be, or you obviously like work on stuff from there. So I think it's going to be an interesting concept, or an interesting thing to mess around with having the layering be the full objects painted and then stuff over top of it, so you're not worried about like mixing colors accidentally or anything like that. So I'm excited. I think that it's going to be pretty cool, and it'll end up being a nice time. I'm not 100% sure about what I want to do, but I kind of want to do like simple geometric shapes at first. Go from there and just kind of create more interesting stuff and just kind of see what happens. Maybe something along the lines of like diamonds that kind of get smaller as they go up in layers, and then you can kind of create this cool little... Let's go ahead and delete all of that. And then you get this kind of interesting layered look that it might look like it's kind of coming up to a summit. So, you know, almost like geometric mountains, which I think will be interesting. I just have to get myself to, you know, do it. And as with anything art related, one of the biggest problems that you'll end up running to is just motivation. Creativity itself is very iffy, at least for me. So it's like, yeah, I'll start doing something and be like really into it, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, all right, cool, and I want to do something else, and next thing I know, I'm not actually even like doing the thing that I was planning on working on in the first place, and it just kind of goes from there. And so a lot of that stuff can be very hit or miss depending upon how motivated you end up feeling. And with someone who, you know, happens to be friends with a bunch of different artists, it seems universal. Just trying to find the ability to like find that motivation that you want, because a lot of the times it's just hard. Sometimes there's not really much you can do about it until, you know, you get that creative mood going. One, two, three, and four, because that's was working at 4 a second, so yeah, let's do one more. So we've got 5. There we go. I just need to make sure that I carry on over here. Here, why don't we flip this? And then we come up like that. There we go. So now we just connect that, and we'll need to flip all of these. And there you go. Now what I want is boom, 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 boom. And there we go. So do that and just belt everything right on through here. And there we go. So now those will be doing that. I did actually have somebody suggest a very interesting idea for testing the way that or how much I would need to actually like saturate the belts, and I could, because you know I mentioned a few episodes ago where I was like, yeah, I'd like to be able to test and see like what optimal setups there are and stuff like that. And what was suggested was I could take a line and just saturate it and see how far it'll go, and as long as, you know, we keep it saturated with our extractors or whatever, if I remember correctly, use the splitters, have one go into the, like, the out, or one on the right side go into the trash can, and one on the left side go into, just keep going straight through, and then while they're all hooked up, you know, it's constantly outputting to our one side while it's also still going through on the other side, and then I can test how many of the splitters will go on a single belt before it stops being able to make it to the end. And I actually really like that, and I think once we get through tier 5 and we kind of have everything back again at a fresh start, I'd like to take a little bit to test and stuff like that. I might do that for a video just to kind of see how things go, and, you know, go adjust things from there, because I think we could create some better setups, especially since, you know, we're going to need 150,000 of these for at least these first 3. I don't know if the bottom one's going to be different, because mixing and painting's always been weird up to this point, but who knows. I think regardless, it'll be a very interesting series of experiments, so we will see. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to because I want to move it up so we have 2 rows of that production, and then that way we can just, you know, combine everything. But it might be better off if we do alternating between this and then white circles, and then, which I think is what I might actually do, because we can alternate and then combine like that. So we'll need to grab our I don't really think this through, not gonna lie. Oh well, we'll go ahead and just do smaller copies and mess that up on accident. There we go. So what we'll do is we'll bring our white dye all the way up here. We'll go ahead and split it off like that. And just bring you right on over here. Go ahead and replace it with these. Cool. So we've got our white dye being fed in. And now we just need to grab ourselves some circles, which I've got an idea. Let's go ahead and so we'll start circles there. That way I can just kind of more easily organize things. We can actually, we are actually still producing that. Interesting. Well, at least I have them labeled, so I'll know when I can go back and kind of delete things. And let's go ahead and just put them here, and these are dye starts. Cool. And then we've got we've got pinwheel. Give myself a little bit more organization. And yes, let's go from there. We'll go ahead and belt off some more. Oh, we actually need to belt off circles instead, which are going to come from over here. So let's go ahead and we'll just start it right on over here. I still don't actually know what I want to do about the current setup, because obviously I realized that using the main bus system is kind of not working like how I thought it would. Because as I noticed in the last video, when I have, you know, multiple things pulling off the belt and it's running at full production, it kind of, you know, we've got so much going unused because it's just getting bounced over later on, and then I'm not 100% sure about what to do actually with fixing the way that that works. So I'll have to, like I said, I'll have to do some messing around and see. Because obviously up to this point I've just been doing, you know, localized production and going from there. And that might go back into doing the testing for the different products and actually like seeing how each individual shape, or not shape, how like the splitters affect the way that the what is it called? Splitters affect the way that like shapes are distributed and so on and so forth. Like I said, with the idea of seeing about how well we can keep the stuff saturated on belts that are used for creating like intermediate shapes and stuff like that. Yeah. So we'll see. It'll just take a little bit of time and messing around, and luckily we've got plenty of it. I know soon-ish we should be seeing some stuff for the... No, I do not want to delete. We should be seeing some stuff for the Wires update, which I've talked a little bit about before, but I'm really, really excited to see how it goes. Because I think that we will have some very interesting stuff that can come out from that. Especially with just how the... One, I'm excited to see how the system will work in the first place, because I know that there's been a little bit of talk about it, but I don't know too much about what's actually the plan for it. So obviously we'll get a lot more details once it actually comes out and can be done. So I'm looking forward to that. And then with the update for Wires, I think that it'll give us some more opportunity to like make things run faster and so on and so forth. And I think it'll give a kind of a new depth of what we can do in the game. And I'm always down with that, because it's just, one, really cool to see how things progress, and two, very interesting to see how it'll affect, you know, things going on in the game right now. There we go. So we'll go like that, and because we need to split and combine. I'm also excited because with the Wires update, like, some of the stuff that I read through is like, oh, there's going to be a separate like overlay on top of everything, so you can actually see how your stuff's wired up and so on and so forth, so that way it's not like taking up the same blocks and you have to plan around it. You can have wires going into machines and stuff like that on top of, you know, all of this stuff that's going on over here. So like I said, very interested to see how it goes, and we'll be looking forward to it. And there we go. We've got the... Oh, that's cool. So we can... Interesting. And if I'm correct, this actually unlocks... Okay, our final one, which is actually the shape that we need. So we're going to need to make a lot of this. But then we get free play, which I am excited to mess around with eventually. It only took, you know, too many hours to get there. But, you know, comes with the territory of playing a game like this. It takes time, and especially with how many times I've kind of reset things and so on and so forth. But yeah, soon we'll be able to get something interesting done and go from there. So let's see here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Those work at 3 1/3, so it's at 6 now. 3, 6, 9. So that's 10, and then yeah. So we only need 2 more. There we go. And that should keep full saturation from the belt. And then we need to copy this again. Actually, we only need to copy 1 because we need to make... So we've got star with a circle on it, so we need more pinwheels. So I'll go ahead and bring this on up, and then this on up. There we go. And so I need more of the pinwheels. I need them to be purple. So we'll go ahead and bring this all the way up, this all the way up, boom, and there we go. So we need purple to go on over here. And then we just rebalance the end. Cool. So we got that. Now we just need to plug in some more of our pinwheels. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and split them off right here. As always, kind of throwing a little caution to the wind about how we just build right through things like this, but it is okay. That's the one thing I really enjoy about how easy it is to just kind of create and destroy, because even if we don't make great setups, it just, the problem could go away by a couple of clicks, and then I can rebuild. It's almost like working with, you know, Legos and stuff like that, where you're just like, I'm going to create something cool, and then maybe it doesn't turn out the way you want. Instead, you just start over and create something new. So go ahead and take you like that, and there you go. And now all we gotta do is bring this output on up here. And we want you coming in on the bottom because we need that to be our base shape. And then we just bring you on over here. There we go. And there we go. So now we're making the next shape, and now we just need some more white circles. And with those lined up, we can go like this. Go ahead and place you down there. And we will go ahead and build this up. I do also feel that if I wanted to use more belts, it might be a little bit smarter to, you know, just create a section that's got it and then I can just blueprint over everything, but it is okay because I just like being able to see everything on the belts. And like I said, it's easy to replace everything and, you know, go back another step, so we will get there eventually, and it will be okay, because like I said, I mean, this is kind of a very casual style play of this, as I am very clearly not doing things in the most efficient manner. But it's all part of the learning experience, and, you know, just kind of going from there. We'll eventually end up getting more and more stuff done, and have some more interesting ways to build, and so on and so forth. As always, that's kind of the name of these types of games, where you want to slowly but surely learn what you can do to make things better, and go from there. And we will extend over like that, and we'll go ahead and just start running this up alongside here. Oops. And there we go. Connect you up. And now all we need to do is bring this shape on over here. So we'll go ahead and do that like that. There we go. And then we bring you on over, bring you up, you go like that, you go like that, and there we go. Now we're producing that shape, and we can go ahead and deliver it right on back to the hub, which is actually going to be a little bit off to the left. So let's go ahead and let's just get rid of that, and we'll turn things on this way. Go like that, and that. Get rid of you, and then we'll just copy and paste. There we go. And now, all we gotta do is bring you on over a little. And we need to go ahead and belt to right about there. There, I think. And then we go all the way down over here. And, you know, accidentally destroy something that, you know, we're not really using, but that's okay. And then I'm gonna try and cut down on that sound, because it does not sound great in the slightest when you place a bunch of them, because it seems like it kind of, if you try to fast place them like that, it just places them down in every spot and then will delete itself, which, you know, like, works, but doesn't sound super great for the ears when you're like, oh cool, let me just you know, hear the same sound playing in close succession a bunch of times. But once we get this hooked up, we should be in business. And we'll go ahead and see how things go from here. Because now we're going to be running the system at, you know, kind of full speed. because you know, a lot of the times when you're doing stuff, as you're taking the time to build it, it's like, yeah, everything's kind of meeting up because we've got everything roughly proportionate to supporting an entire belt and going from there. And so, you know, as it goes up through the system, you got to make sure that it's still doing that, or else it's just gonna cause issues. But as you'll see, like right now, it's been running for a little bit. So we are delivering 1,000 a minute so far, which is the max that's supported by our belt, so that makes sense. And now we just kind of need to wait to see if these are going to catch up at all, because if these don't catch up, then we're totally fine. We're going to be at 1,000 a minute, and we only need to do that for 40 minutes. Now for granted, I could, you know, create the whole setup, double it, and so on and so forth, but I would need to make more production of the pinwheels and stuff like that. So we'll see what I end up doing with that, and just kind of go from there. But as you can see, that's 1,000. We can go ahead and stop making that shape, and these two as well. We only need to focus on delivering what we need for this final upgrade path, and since we've got these three done, we can go ahead and only focus on these two. And this is still at only 600 a minute, which is definitely low. Oh look, and actually these have caught up because let's see here. Yeah, so we're not getting enough of the purple coming through because we're not getting enough of our pinwheels coming through. Yeah. So I mean, maybe if I wanted the system to be better, I could either find a second source of production for these, because, you know, this one up here, totally fine, it just gets pushed through at max, but here it's at half, which actually I'd be interested to see if we come into our settings, if we upped this. Okay, no, so that does not change anything. So we'll go ahead and lower it back down just for performance reasons. Go ahead and just do that, and yeah. So what I would assume is happening is, you know, since it's splitting both ways and this one's constantly moving, this is getting split, this is coming over here, and then this other half of the production still going through. So when this is moving, this takes priority because this is the main belt, and then everything else moves over here to kind of pick up when there's a gap, since it's bringing everything over onto this left side. I'm not 100% sure, but that's my theory, and that's why this works just fine, because nothing's being balanced over here, moving up here, it's just all being from this source. And if we just double check again, yeah, so I mean that's already gone down quite a bit. So I guess the only option that I would have I could have the amount that's being used per thing, and so when it's being moved up, and it's only, you know, doing half satisfaction or something like that, we can combine, like, so which is gonna not be good for, you know, like half numbers, but if I wanted, I could take off these two at the end, this should stay fully satisfied, and then I just need to split off from the main belt to do, you know, like 3 more or something like that, and then we can recombine them into the same line where they then get pushed up and move, so on and so forth. Because obviously, like I said, I think that's the big issue that we're running into, is just things are splitting, and because these are moving so fast, it's not getting, you know, it's not getting a rebalance before this one, so it's just, I mean, well, it is actually being, you know, balanced here, but Yeah, I would need to do some more looking into how the splitters work and stuff like that in order to really figure out the root of the problem, but we're going to go ahead and cut it there. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you want to see my content in the future, and I will see you next time.